Hello class 7 students. Today in this video we are going to continue in regards to the chapter of geography, that is atmospheric pressure of the earth surface. And here we will discuss the remaining part of the lesson, that is in regards to the pressure belts of the world. In the last class we discussed about the influence, which the factors that influence the atmospheric pressure. Today let's continue with the global pressure belt. Here we are having four kinds of pressure belts, four pressure belts over the earth surface, that is equatorial, low pressure belt, number 2, that is subtropical, low subtropical high pressure belt, number 3, that is subpolar low pressure belt, and number 4, that is polar high pressure belt. These belts are directly connected with the sun's radiated heat over the earth's surface. We know that the earth's surface is circular, it is incurved, and the sun's rays falling over the earth's surface, it is in perpendicular. You see, this area is completely perpendicular and the sun radiation is falling directly over the earth's surface, and this area is slanting and it is falling at an angle. Whenever sun rays falls directly over the earth's surface, that is perpendicular, which form about 90 degree, we can say that the earth is receiving the highest amount of insolation, highest amount of heat from the sun. But in the same case, when the sun rays is falling over in this angle, making an angle and slanting a bigger angle, more bigger angle, that is, we can say that the earth is receiving the lesser amount of heat. So in this case, during the daytime when the sun is above our head, which is perpendicularly over our head, then we can say that the time of the day, that is midday, is quite warmer than the morning and evening time. So during the morning time, as the sun radiation is falling slantingly, in the same evening time the sun radiation is falling slantingly, these two times periods is experiencing lesser temperature. So in regards to it, here, as an imaginary line which is 0 degree latitude, which is running across the middle of the earth's surface, this is equator, receives the highest amount of insulated heat over the earth's surface. So let's discuss in regards to it. The pressure belt, as we draw a diagram of the earth, just a sketch of this earth, we will draw the 0 degree latitude, which we regard as equator. Now this area, that is about 23.5 degree north, and also in both the hemisphere, that is a 23.5 degree south latitude, this area, it can be termed as the pressure belt. And again, when we term here as a pressure belt, here from here to here, this is called the tropical high pressure belt, or the pressure belt number 1, which we can say is equatorial low pressure belt. This is low pressure belt, equatorial low pressure belt. Let's turn here write as low. In both the hemisphere, this is the equator in both the hemisphere. Then again, if you go forward in both the hemisphere, we are experiencing just merging with 23.5 degree north and for 23.5 degree a narrow strip of the equator. It is called the equatorial low pressure belt, and as it goes merging here from a little bit about 10 degree and to here up to about 30 or 35 degree, it is this area is called as subtropical. This one is high pressure belt. Same thing, this one is subtropical high pressure belt. Again, if you go further, that means in both the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere we are having subtropical high pressure. Equatorial low pressure belt is combined because it is in the middle, so in both hemisphere it is, as it is combined, we can take it as one. We are not determining as north or south. But in the case of subtropical high pressure belt, we are having north and south, north subtropical high pressure belt and south subtropical high pressure belt. Then again, if you go further, we are having subpolar. This one is low pressure belt, subpolar low pressure belt. As we go the final part, this area is called the polar high pressure belt. In both the hemisphere, here we are having the north pole and here we are having the south pole. Again, if you want to discuss elaborately of this part of the same pressure belt, let's discuss that why it is high pressure belt in a particular area and why in some places, in some area it is low pressure belt. As we term the equatorial low pressure belt that I was mentioning, we term as equatorial shortcut low pressure belt. Here in both the hemisphere we term as subtropical high, here also subtropical high, here subpolar high, low pressure, subpolar low, and finally we are having polar high. So here, as I have already mentioned here, that this is the perpendicular line where the sun radiation is falling directly over the earth surface, which is in the equator, receives the highest amount of sun's radiation. As in regards to atmospheric pressure, we have discussed that more the temperature, the air expands and it starts rising out and forms a low pressure area. So similarly, studying to that simple phenomenon, we are experiencing low pressure area in the equatorial area because that part is receiving the highest amount of insulated heat from the sun. Then again, here in this place we are having this plane of the sun's radiation that are falling, it is quite slanting, lesser. Though this equatorial area is called as tropical belt, tropical pressure belt, so adjacent to the tropical pressure belt is a subtropical, tropical subtropical in both the hemisphere. So it is quite cooler in comparison to equatorial low pressure belt. Here it is highest and it is quite cooler in comparison to here. As the air cools down, the air contract and form a high density area. So here the pressure start increasing as high density. So again, if we go through it, if we go along it, we go further, that is polar area, and adjacent to the polar area subpolar. As I have already mentioned, tropical area adjacent to the tropical area subtropical. Same thing, polar area adjacent to the polar area, that is subpolar low. And here, why we are having low pressure, why we are having high pressure? You see, it seems that this is highest insulated area, so low pressure. As it go further, it is cooler, so it is high pressure. Then it should be cool here. Definitely it is cool, but it has a low pressure. Why high pressure? Actually, in comparison to subtropical high pressure, it is higher pressure. But in comparison to polar high pressure belt, this area has low pressure area, because polar high pressure area receives the lowest amount of sun's radiation. So here the air is in contracted form, most contracted form, and density is highest here. So in comparison to polar high pressure belt, we are having the adjacent area as low pressure. Though here it is low pressure, it is high pressure. Though here it is high pressure, but in comparison to polar area it is low. And if we compare these two places together, then we will be having high here and here having low here. But we are going serially in this case, and here we are going in this part, in this way: polar high, low, equatorial low, subtropical high. So here the Earth's surface receives the lowest amount of insulated heat from the sun, so it has the highest high pressure. So it is called the high pressure belt, the polar high pressure belt. It is subpolar low pressure belt in comparison to this one. So it is because of this pressure belts the wind is circulated globally over the Earth's surface, and this circulation of the wind is called planetary wind. Is called the planetary wind. So we are having now this that is equatorial low pressure belt, subtropical high pressure belt, subpolar low pressure belt, and polar high pressure belt. And these planetary winds are permanent in nature, which blows between the major pressure belt that I have already discussed. This pressure, the wind that blows between the major pressure belt from major pressure belt and of the world are called permanent winds. They are of three types. These permanent winds are of three types: trade wind, westerlies, and polar winds. These things you will get to discuss in the higher classes in regards to the wind circulation. And also these are the primary form of the wind. The trade winds that are blowing between the subtropical and subpolar and subtropical belt. Westerlies are blowing between subpolar low and subtropical in the direction towards the west, so it is called as westerlies. And polar wind, which are blowing from polar high pressure to polar low pressure, so it is called polar wind. So in that regard, these three primary winds are formed. So we will be discussing here not the primary wind, another form of wind, that is called the secondary wind. Secondary wind circulation. This secondary wind circulation which we are concerned here is called as monsoon wind. Monsoon wind. So what is monsoon? The word monsoon has been derived from an Arabic word called mausa, and it is termed as monsoon. Here, if you take our country, the coastal area of India, which is about 6,100 kilometer long. This is India. This is India. We see this is Indian Ocean. This is Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal. Here we know that Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degree north latitude, which we call as Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country. Here, during the month of June, July, starting from May, June, July, the sun is over this area. As the sun is over this area, as I have mentioned, the sun radiation falls perpendicularly over the earth surface here, and here the area is warmer than the adjoining area, that is towards the south. This is the west and this is the east, and directly towards here it is the south. Towards the south there is Indian Ocean. So here, as the insolation heat is more, air expands and it starts rising up, forming a low pressure area. Remember that one. Another factors here, that is here in running from east to west direction, a long range of mountain passes, which we call as the Himalaya. When the low pressure is created, here considerably high pressure is there. So I have already mentioned that wind travels from high pressure area to low pressure area. From which direction? From this direction. In this direction, the wind is blowing in this direction and start hitting the Himalayan range. As the wind is blowing over the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal, and also a little amount of area that is from the Indian Ocean, above the Indian Ocean, it takes some moisture in it. The air takes moisture in it, and this moisture is carried away through long distance and hit the Himalayas. These moistures further condense to form cloud, which give heavy rainfall over the earth surface, that is near the northern part of India. So it is because of this we are receiving heavy rainfall in summer season, and this phenomena is called as monsoon season. And the wind that is coming from this direction, it is called as monsoon wind. And from which direction we call it? Here it is coming from the southern part of the west, so it is southwest monsoon wind. As a factor of this, we are receiving heavy rainfall over the earth's surface. And the southwest monsoon flow from the Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean to the mainland of India from the southwest direction. The wind crosses India and give a large quantity of rainfall in the northern part of India. Some of the rainfall is received in the western part of the Western Ghat, situated in the west coast of India. That is, here is Western Ghat. Some is hit by the Western Ghat because here is highland. A large amount of rainfall is also received here in the Western Ghat because of the southwest monsoon. So this is the secondary type of monsoon wind that we are receiving. Again, the last type of wind that we have discussed earlier in the earlier chapter and also in the video that we have discussed, that is land breeze and sea breeze. Land breeze that blows from land to sea in the coastal area, and sea breeze that blows from sea to land. This is happening during the night time, and this is happening during the daytime. Through a diagram I have mentioned, I hope so you will go to that video, the past video that I have uploaded, and you will see the phenomena of land breeze and sea breeze in that chapter. So I hope so you will understand this lesson, and in the next day I will try to give you the answers of this lesson, and upload it. For the time being, thank you, and do share this video to the other students. Thank you.